Did you make yourself a promise that you would get in shape by a certain date, but failed to stick to the promise? Did you make a New Year's resolution that this time you would actually get in shape, but failed yet again? Did you buy a whole cardio machine and it's just collecting dust? Is it the case that you actually do want to go to the gym, but an invisible force, almost like a physical pain, stops you from going every time? In this video, we will talk about what this invisible force is and how you can use this one hack to actually defeat it. Now, you might be a very successful person in a few aspects of your life. People may think very highly of you, thinking you're a very accomplished person. But when it comes to an area that you know you have to improve in, you cannot bring the same attitude. This can be in writing, reading for an exam, developing a skill set you know you will need, but in this specific case, we're going to focus on getting in shape. For one reason, be it being out of breath, not liking what you see in the mirror, not wanting to turn out like your diabetic father, or another 1,000 reasons, you decide that you have to work out. You're sold. You know what you need to do, but you don't do it. You make plans, you have the intention, but when the time comes, magically you find ways not to go. You might tell yourself that another task needs to get done first, or you might suddenly need to meet this friend who is going to leave the country. Mysterious events stop you from doing what you know you need to do. You might even notice that you're playing this game with yourself and decide that no matter what, you're going to use your willpower to go. But again, when the time comes, you get an uncomfortable feeling, almost like real physical pain, that makes you quit. It makes you order in junk food or reach for an ice cream. It tells you you can do it later. If you're watching this and are surprised how I'm reading so deep into your soul, it's because on a daily basis, I feel the same way. Almost every human being has had this experience. And because it's such a common problem, a lot of thinkers have written about it. It's as if there is an internal force that has a mission to stop us from becoming the best versions of ourselves. This force has been called different things by different people. High testosterone, masculine people like Joe Rogan or David Goggins call it the inner bitch. Writers call it writer's block. Steven Pressfield wrote a whole book about it and called this mysterious force resistance. Before getting to the hack that helps you beat resistance, let's first understand why it does what it does. We're all products of evolution. We run from pain and towards pleasure. Our evolutionary machinery is optimized for the short term and for scarce environments. But in this day and age, we're living in an environment of plenty, and if we want to succeed, we have to have long-term thinking. The ancient, less human, more ape parts of our brains wants to make sure that we survive just long enough to pass on our genes, ensuring the survival of the species. This part of our brain does not care what happens in 5 years, but what happens right now. So if it sees sugar, it goes, hey, here is this highly energy-dense, palatable food. Make sure to eat as much as you can because you will probably not find much of this around later. This is because in the past, the only times you could find sugar was if you found a fruit tree in the summer. Then you would have to eat as much as you could before the chimps came and ate all the fruit. In the same way, our brain does not want us to waste energy running when there is nothing to run from. It wants us to conserve energy, and it also wants to make sure we're not moving towards pain. Exercise is not particularly pleasurable. It is a chore. So it makes sense for our brain to want to stop us from doing it. After all, why would we keep lifting a stone and putting it down in the wild? That is just wasting valuable energy. The problem is that our software has not been able to update quickly enough to keep up with all the technological advances. So we need to remind ourselves that the rules of the game are different now, and we have to play differently. So with all this being said, can we identify a hack to beat resistance? Fortunately, the answer is yes. You see, resistance makes it really hard for you to start something. It really uses all its power to make sure you do not start doing what you're supposed to do. The way it manages to do it is that it makes the task seem very long, boring, painful, and challenging, essentially making sure it is the opposite of what our brain craves and what it is optimized for. When we realize this, we find a clink in the armor of resistance. If resistance stops us from acting by making us not start that activity, by deluding us that it's going to be painful despite us knowing otherwise, the answer to defeating resistance is to make sure the barrier to entry of the activity is so low that all the intimidation factor is taken out of it. The best-selling author of 4-Hour Workweek, Tim Ferriss, explains how he uses this strategy. His quote for writing is 2 crappy pages a day. His last book, Tribe of Mentors, is 624 pages long. And his previous book, Tools of Titans, is 736 pages long. So how does he dish out so many books, and high quality ones at that? He makes sure that the intimidation factor of writing a 700-page book that millions of people with high expectations are going to read is taken out of the equation. Every day, he forces himself to sit down and write 2 crappy pages. As long as he does that, he's good. It is very easy to write 2 pages knowing that you can throw it away if you want to. You can sit down and write. When he's done with writing 2 pages, often his engine is warmed up, so he continues and writes maybe like 12 pages in one session, but never less than 2 pages. The idea is if he goes in thinking he has to write 12 pages or even worse, thinking that he has to write a whole 700-page book, he will be paralyzed by fear and be forced into inaction. But as long as he gives himself a break after 2 pages, he's golden. This is how he gets the job done so brilliantly. Other people employ this trick by using the 2-minute rule, meaning if there's an activity that intimidates you or annoys you, commit to doing it for 2 minutes. This can be cleaning your room, washing the mountain of unwashed dishes, studying, or in my case, writing the script for this YouTube video. Although these are all simple tasks, aren't we all losing to resistance on a daily basis? I'm struggling with the same mundane stuff you struggle with every day, and I'm just sharing what has finally worked for me. Moving back to using this strategy for working out, your brain is going to trick you and tell you that this is going to be very painful and boring. So what you do is the bare minimum. You put on your clothes, you put on your shoes, and get out of your house. Commit to doing just this on your workout days, and you will see that your attendance to the sessions has skyrocketed. What will happen is probably something like this. You're outside the house and you have your clothes on, so you think to yourself, man, I'm already outside and I have my gym clothes on, so might as well just go to the gym anyway. The key is you don't actually have to go to the gym if you don't feel like it when you're outside. You are allowed to go back in. But it is very likely that you will find out that you're in the mood to go to the gym after you're outside the house. If you find yourself craving junk food, instead of using the easiest option and ordering food in, commit to going to the fridge and taking whatever food is there outside of the fridge. Or if there's no food in the fridge, which is a terrible idea if you want to eat healthy, commit to wearing your clothes, going out to the supermarket, and buying groceries. The key is to take the easiest, smallest, simplest action in any activity and just commit to doing that. This tip sounds too simplistic and unsophisticated to work, but it does. Use it for a month and be prepared to be blown away by how effective it is.